I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. In the current status quo, investments are getting all the hype because people think it would give them a ton of money in return or a quick money, especially with all the accessibility to investment platforms, right? This means not only middle to upper class people can access the investment platform, but also middle to lower income people can also have access to investment platforms and social media, right? The practice of meme investing itself relies on the idea that many people or many influencers in social media are investing in a certain stock that people think can give a ton of profit, right? And people are following it because of the trend, not because they have a background information or if they're actually checking it by themselves. They're just following it because of the hype, because everyone is investing in it, right? We think as opening government, this brings even more harm than good in the current status quo, right? We think that the harms will outweigh even the best case scenario of opening opposition, right? So 2 layers of analysis of harms, why under our circumstances it will be bad for people that actually invest, and why this will be bad for investment in general, right? So 1, why when people invest based on trend is going to be very bad, right? The practice of meme investing itself is dominated by spontaneous investors, right? What do we mean by spontaneous investors? Spontaneous investors are people who think that they can get a ton of money when they follow the influencers where they actually, put their money in or where they invest their money in because they think it will be profitable for them, right? Without doing any background check, without doing or checking the cash flow or annual report or projection of a certain company's finance in a few years or a few years to the future. We think without all this information, they just put their money in because everyone is doing it and everyone is saying that it's going to get them a ton of money, right? I think when this happens, this is where it's going to be harmful, right? Because with little to no information about investment, they don't know what they are putting their money in, and they're just blindly following these influencers or these people in social media in what they're investing in, right? This means that the vulnerability of meme investing is the harms are really much magnified, right? Because not only there's a small amount of people investing in a certain stock, but now there's a collective amount of people that directly invest in a certain company, right? This means that the vulnerability of meme investing that relies on the hype of social media, relies on the popularity of their stock in social media. Once the hype died down or once the popularity died down, this means that the stock will most likely die down too, right? But the problem with this is that before, maybe only a certain amount of people or a small amount of people are going to experience the loss. But now, with all these meme investment, there will be an even larger amount of people that will experience this loss in the very first place, right? Because they follow it because of the trend, because they think it's cool. That's why this large amount of people that have little to no information about investment will, experience the loss also, right? Because it is very much likely. Right? Because let's just take for an example the stock of Gojek and Tokopedia that has been getting all the hype in the current status quo, right? That people, even before it is released, people are actually anticipating it already, that everyone wants to buy the stock, right? That's how the meme investment in the current status quo looks like. But look at what happened to the stock of Goto, right? They're currently, not in a stable position, that they're still, not experiencing a ton of profit, etc. Right? This shows to you that not everything in social media or not everything that the influencers are actually recommending to you is something that will be profitable, right? But not everyone has that information there, especially now that investment platforms are very much available to people that don't have enough education regarding investment, right? We think that this will be bad, right? Because not only that there will be a ton of people experiencing losses, but also this can lead to harms for investment in general, which leads me to my second analysis on why this will be bad for investment in general, right? One, we think that this will all the way simplify the way people view investment. Right? This means that they think the easiest way to get money or the way that investment works is just simply to follow what people are doing and then they will get money. Right? We think this is bad, right? Exactly because investment is such an intricate thing. That's why investment are usually customized for each person's needs or each person's financial situation. We think that this is very much important, right? For people to not oversimplify it in a way that just simply, you don't need to check anything before you actually put your money in something, right? We think with this simplification, it leads people to normalize investing before they're actually thinking, investing before they actually check the things behind, the company. We think that this will ruin the idea of like investment in general, because people will, simply think it is something that everyone should do because everybody else is doing it in social media. We think that that is something that is wrong, because then people are now even more prone to other losses in investment, right? But second, we think that this will create even more harm to when people experiences losses, right? This means that if their first impression in entering, investment is experiencing losses from this meme investment, this means people will be scared, for example, to invest again because they feel like they're going to fail, or they have lost a ton of money that they don't have even more money to then invest again, etc. We think that this being scared of investing again, etc., will create even more harm, right? Because the stock market needs to keep on going, right? We think that comparatively under our side, when there's this when the hype of meme investing doesn't exist, this means that people, yes, there will be only a small amount of people that, for example, start to invest. Well, we think that is okay, right? Because they come with full consideration and full information regarding and education regarding investment. This means they know what kind of money they should put in, and this will be better for the stock market in general, because then there will be this informed people with people that is able to help the development of companies in the current status quo, right? But let's analyze the best case scenario coming from opposition, right? Regarding that, what happens if all these people end up getting the profit? We think that even in that best case scenario of all people getting the profit from this meme investing, this will still be bad, right? Because people will continue to follow the hype in social media because they think it's giving them a ton of money. So people only give money or invest in popular companies in social media. These smaller potential companies that needs money or investment to grow will be undermined, right? Because everyone is investing their money in these popular companies. Do you think that this is hindering the development of stock market in by itself, right? Because then the small companies cannot grow because people are actually focusing or putting their money in something that is more popular rather than something that's promising financially or economically based on annual report, etc. We think that this will be harmful. But lastly, we think that education will very much be overshadowed by the echo chamber of positive information regarding why you should invest in a certain thing, because you want people to follow you on what you're doing, right? That's what the influencers are doing. So we think that education will be very much minimum, or even if it exists, it will be overshadowed by all the discussion regarding why this is a good thing and that's why you should follow, right? And with that all being said, so proud to propose.